Maybe comfortable in the uncomfortable. Don't be afraid to shoot your shot. The worst thing you're going to do is just end up in the same place you are today.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again on another episode of Behind the Founders. I'm Ryan Bulpett from Cherry Assistant, and today I'm joined by our special guest, Lysander. So if you don't mind, Lysander, just introducing yourself, what you're doing, where you at, and we'll just take it from there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on the show here. Let's see here. So what am I doing? It's around, it's everywhere right now. You know, Currently I have a full-time, I'm a pro account manager in a SaaS
Mm-hmm.
company. And what I do is I manage a book of like 178 clients or so. My background varies throughout the software world, being with startups, being with publicly traded companies, med tech, telecom, now selling to the trades. However, there's always been this inkling in my mind after getting out of the military of maybe I could do more, right? So I started this, I guess thing on the side where I was just helping some friends out, in this case, doctors that were spending a ton of money on agencies and just not necessarily getting their money's worth. Took the time to, learn these systems like SEM, SEO, marketing, etc., and just kind of realized that there was kind of a gap in the market as far as, education. A lot of these companies don't know what they don't know. So I've created Fanatics, and Fanatics is a digital consulting company now leaning
Mm-hmm.
more so on the AI side and solutions. So started out building bespoke AI, and it's grown from there into a whole picture: AI visibility, websites, conversion infrastructure, AI lead capture and follow up, voice agents, custom CRMs, the whole shebang. And the whole idea is we want to take a transparent approach and helping customers understand what they're getting today, giving them a full free audit, and where we could potentially come in and, take some of that workload off their shoulders and them knowing this is a different experience from the agency's experience they've had in the past. So this is a side hustle that's starting to now grow, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to take a little bit more serious.
Okay, awesome. And is it something you want to turn into your main hustle? Is it something you want to expand?
Yeah, I really enjoy being the consultant and actually being able to go in there and not have to worry that, hey, this call has to happen because I got to hit X quota, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I have to have this
I
type of
have to hit this
conversation with
KPI.
the client. Yeah. So when I'm in my side hustle mode or when I'm building the Bot Fanatics brand, I'm truly trying to understand, what's going on with their business, what their goals are. And it's exciting to know that I have a skill set where I could come in and actually help them. So I would
Mm-hmm.
like it to be my full time because I'm generally able to see what I'm doing for the business in the long run. Whereas when you're with software companies, you make the sale, it gets handed off to customer success. You don't really necessarily know what happens post
Mm.
sale.
Yeah, like that's where your piece ends.
Exactly.
Okay, and you want to be more involved. You want to see the relationship grow. You want to see the impact on the business that you're helping.
Yeah, the fruits of the labor. Like, hey, I've helped them do X. And then
Yeah.
it's especially more exciting when they're introducing you to other people because you've done good work for them.
Hmm. Yeah. It's like, oh, I helped this company do that. They show me their friends now. I can help their friends do this. See them on the stock market selling at a crazy price in 2-3 years time. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, in this case here, because that's more so like local businesses, kind of sometimes
Hmm.
mid-market. It's like, oh, they expanded into a new market. They expanded another
Mm.
location. They were
Yeah, they
able
opened up
to
another
cut
chain or
overhead.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I just want to touch on some things you mentioned. First of all, the free audit. What made you want to do that? Because I mean, obviously, that's not something that takes like 10 seconds. That's a lot of effort. So, what made you want to give your potential clients that much effort? That much work without any kind of investment or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like any kind of return immediately. Because that is quite a
Yes.
lot of work. So, what made you want to go with that model? It obviously
So I
shows
think it's
trust and
just
eagerness, but what made you want to do that?
I think it just kind of just started out all the way from my time in the military, right? Being in the bomb squad, you're always having to double check things before you execute, right? And so when I got
Hmm.
out of the military and got into like telecom and I was doing door to door and selling internet, I would say, hey, you know what? Before even telling you our prices, let's do a Wi-Fi audit. Let's make sure that your Wi-Fi is even up to par. Is this even going to make sense? And then when I moved into medical sales and I was selling MarTech, a lot of these times I'm selling against an agency that's already working with the person I'm going after. And
Mm.
so a lot of times these agencies are able to close these deals because what they're doing is just basically talking crap about what they currently have and saying this is what we do different. But the
Yeah.
problem that I kept running into time and time again is that the customers that I would work with would always tell me all they get is a PDF sent to them every 2 weeks or at the end of the month of as far as how they're doing.
Mhm.
So I said, you know what? Every time I audited a doctor's website or someone's website, I always found things that were wrong. And it didn't take me much time to audit, but I built a lot of trust with the customer. And so just going forward, I like to keep it as a here's an audit of what you're currently getting today, what you could be doing better. And then it builds that trust from
Mm.
that customer to me, and that relationship starts building. Like, here's a guy that's not just trying to sell me, here's a guy showing me what's wrong. I can take this information to my current agency, or I can see what it looks like for Lysander and his team to come in and help. And so I feel like
Mhm.
it builds that trust and allows them to know that I'm very transparent in how I do business.
Yeah, no, 100%. It definitely shows, like you said, it's building that trust, building that relationship like immediately. And it shows a level of like passion and integrity on your side, you know? Like you say, you're not just trying to sell them this thing, you're actually trying to get them a solution. You're trying to help them, trying to improve things on their side. Because you mentioned you always found something wrong when you do these audits. So it does show like a level of, I actually want to help this person, not I just want to make a sale, hit that quota. So that's really amazing. And then one other thing you mentioned when you started off was more in marketing, like SEO, SEM, that kind of stuff. How did you do the shift then into your entire bespoke situation right now where you're doing like basically full business analysis from what it sounds like? So how did you make that switch? Because that's also quite a big jump, you know? So like
Yeah,
what
so
made you
I'll
want to
say
make that switch? And then how did you actually like go into it?
if you could repeat that, I was getting a phone call at that time and it
Yeah, no
completely cut
worries.
off my sound.
No worries. Should I just repeat like the whole question?
Yes, if you could.
Yeah, no worries at all. So, you mentioned you started off in the marketing sector almost, like when you were doing SEM, SEO audits, and then you've now switched over into this whole bespoke AI situation. So that's almost like full business analysis for your clients. So, one, how did you go into that? How did you do that entire shift? And two, what made you want to do that shift from, oh, this is a marketing audit to, I'm going to now figure out the processes of your business and how we can help? What made you do that big jump?
Yeah, no, great question. So I got into SEO because of the move I made from California to Texas. I was in the process of interviewing for this company that was selling basically an all in one marketing solution to doctors. And they were like, hey, you can move to Texas in 2 weeks. The job is yours. So I just put everything in my
Hmm.
car and did a full send. What I
Full
didn't
road trip.
realize is that I wasn't, yeah, I didn't realize that I was just like leaving telecom and going into medical, but I was teaching myself a whole new skill set. I had to because my job is to go after doctors and essentially give them an all-in-one tech solution. But if I didn't even understand what I was selling them, how could I,
Mm,
be confident with it? So I started taking classes and I realized like I started building a passion on SEO. It's like a whole big puzzle. Just like, in the military, right? You're having to figure out how you need to execute certain operations. And so it's the same thing with SEO, especially the technical piece. So I got really good at understanding how to break down a website, not just from looking at, oh, it's a pretty website, but how is it ranking? Why is these people paying XYZ and pay per click costs when they don't need to? And
mm,
so what I started doing is I started, talking to the doctors I was working with selling these solutions and said, hey, you know what? Would you like to be a guinea pig? I'd like to build something for you. And so I started trying to figure out how can I give them a good experience away from what they're doing today with website. But then things started building with AI. ChatGPT 3.5 came out and I was like, well, if we have an AI, maybe there's a way to automate conversation from the volume coming to these websites. So then
mhm,
I started working with this plastic surgeon and I was getting great results with automating her direct messages she was getting in from her website and her social media. But the problem is that at the time, the tools that existed were just pre-made messaging, automated
mm,
messages. And me being an autodidact, someone that just enjoys to learn new skills, especially things I'm passionate about, in this case, technology, I took the time to join forums and chatbot forums and things like that were blowing up. And that's how I started finding communities and then realizing like, oh, wow, there's so much more coming to AI. And
yeah,
so then it went from SEO, chatbot to now there's all these agencies selling go high level, and it's just the same white label solution. What if I can build a custom white label solution for my client So they're not stuck paying for a whole different type of product.
Mhm.
So then I started building custom CRMs and dashboards, and then Lovable came out. And then we were able to build custom front end solutions. And then it was just really exciting to see how exciting the customer was taking onto it. But then it went from custom CRM. So how can I automate this redundant workflow? Shoot, now AI is becoming a big thing. Like, how do I show up on that? And it's just compounded from there as far as like more problems that can be fixed and more
Mhm.
exciting things that can be learned as far as like how to fix them. And so I think we're in an amazing time right now where there's really no excuse to not have a side hustle or build something that can benefit others. And it's like, it's crazy how much it's came from SEO to now we can build whatever you need to lower down your redundant workflow, overhead, or just build something custom for you or help you stand up against other people in the local market with AI visibility, you know?
Yeah. No, that's amazing. So it's almost like with the advent of more AI tools, you started taking on more, you started learning more. Like the more tech that came in, the more solutions you were able to learn about and provide. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and then being a futurist, meaning like I like to invest in a lot of future stocks. So I've been getting into semiconductors, quantum computing,
Mhm.
understanding how all this power triage is now coming and trickling down now into the softwares we're using today. ChatGPT is essentially like the new Google, right? People don't know how advanced we are getting right now. And so it's really exciting to be able to use these tools, but then understand what is coming. For example, now we're building AI clones to help automate marketing,
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's a crazy time. I mean, like 5 years ago, this was all. I think when people first thought of AI, they thought what the Will Smith spaghetti thing. I don't know if you remember that from when AI
Yeah, I
first.
remember that.
Like that was the first thing that came to mind. But now I've seen like yeah, as you said, it's the new Google. People don't even go to Google anymore. They just have a ChatGPT shortcut on their phone, and then everyone's just getting photos taken of them when they're on the train or anything like that. Just the first thing they do is they're on ChatGPT, just having a conversation. Like, hey, what should I do for supper tonight? Or what groceries do I need to buy? So it really is just impacting everyone. So like you say, you gotta jump on the trend. Got to start using it for what's coming next because we even getting those video creations now, like Sora, like those are getting really strong. So a lot's happening in that front.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, like a
Sora is still
lot.
a thing, huh? I've been using Higgsfield, and
Yeah, well, you not
Higgsfield's
maybe
great.
not specifically Sora, but like
Yeah.
the Sora likes, like the video creators and
No,
stuff.
the Soren likes, yes. It's becoming more easier now to push content, and now
Yeah, yeah.
converting that content is even more exciting now that we can put in AI agents to respond conversationally omni-channel,
I actually just want to pick your brain. I know because you were in the marketing and the SEO and stuff. How have you guys been leveraging that, like the AI content creation? If that's something you do use, have you leveraged that for your clients? Have you guys been pushing that into any kind of solutions?
Yeah, so it's funny. Originally, when I started doing the SEO, the company was Battle Plan SEO. And even to this day, I never did any marketing for myself. I didn't do any ads. Even if my website, yeah, I cleaned up some of the front end, but I haven't even really focused on the SEO or even back end infrastructure of my own site because I didn't realize it was going to get to this point where I'm even here today on the dang podcast, right? So what I have been doing is taking, if anything, more of the time and teachings that I'm teaching others and putting it into their business. My business has just been growing purely from just word of mouth at this point. But
Hmm.
for example, right now, we recently signed on a lawyer in Houston, and we're working on ranking him against all these competition. But what most people don't understand is that it has changed. We've done a 180 as far as like SEO and GEO, generative engine optimization. How do I show up on AI searches and citations? Back in the day, it's like whoever had the prettiest website, the right headers, maybe the right on-page content. I had blogs and backlinks. Whereas now, it's like who's the most credible? Who has the most freshest content? So
Hmm.
from a standpoint of working with businesses, it's great because we can give them results pretty fast. Usually, what I do is not only give them a free audit, but I say, look, work with me for at least 3 months. I'm not going to put you in a contract. This is going to be a month to month. This is going to be a straight up agreement, right? But give me 3 months, and I'm going to earn your trust in 3 months. By one month is it's going to be fixing all the technical structure on your site and your back end as far as different media channels that you're on. Second month is we're going to go ahead and now automate your content. How can we automate your content, bring it fresh, and get you citations? And then third, we're going to now include an engine to these channels to not only convert the traffic you're getting now, but make sure we're up to date with the content and giving you a competitor analysis. And then usually people, once they see what we've done, because this is what we say we're going to do, they
Hmm.
stick with us, not just for the
thing they originally hired us for, but they want that on-call consultant to keep them up with the times, to teach them what is coming, how can they pivot their strategy, right?
Yeah. How can they like adapt to the new times?
Exactly. So like the lawyer helping the plastic surgeon, the med spa in Miami, it's great because a lot of their current competition today is using agencies that are just focusing on traditional SEO standards, charging these people 2,000 plus a month. And then I'm coming in and saying, hey, I'm not even going to charge you anywhere near that. I'm only going to work with you for 3 months. And this is how we're going to pivot differently. And so it's easy for us to show results and build that trust because not many people know how to rank in today's world with all this technology moving.
Yeah. We just assume it's the same kind of, oh, I'll get a marketing agency to do some content for me. But that's not the case at all, you're saying.
If anything, the nerds are taking over now. Now it's like we used to have the designers, the copywriters, but now the nerds that understand the code, the back end. Now it's like, who has the fastest infrastructure? People are using WordPress? Great, let's pivot to Webflow or Astro. Faster engines on the vehicle, faster indexing. So now that people that really take advantage of learning the technology are the ones that are now succeeding instead of the ones that are just outside hiring agencies from different countries that are just focusing on making you pretty websites.
Yeah, just sticking to like the quote unquote traditional way of ranking and, putting yourself out there. It's almost like using the yellow books, like the phone pages. It feels like it's kind of like pushing us back, like that's outdated almost.
Yeah. So it's just keeping people with the times. And then as people are learning about AI, it's not just even the ranking. We do bespoke AI. So we have time and time again, people saying, hey, I built this CRM on Lovable or Claude. And then they try to build it themselves, but we're still not at a time yet where you can go ahead, not only just deploy a great front end, but now how can you connect all the moving pieces in the back end so it actually works like a working product? And so we can take it to that last mile. So there's just a lot of interesting ways that we can help as a consulting business besides just let's help you rank up on AI. And that's what's really exciting about this time. It's just there's just so much opportunity right now.
Yeah. So it's almost like you guys are almost like on call, fully business analytics, like not just giving you a solution, but sticking with you, improving your processes nonstop. That's kind of like what you're focusing on, it seems.
Yeah. Being a one-stop consulting shop to help you with anything, not just trying to sell you a one product solution. It's like, well, what are you trying to accomplish? Let's see if we can automate that, or let's see what we can do to build your dream CRM or your dream software product, right? So it's like it's pretty broad right now,
Yeah. And obviously with, a broader operation, it gets challenging to run like a one-man show. So is it just you, doing your side hustle at the moment? Do you have like team members or any kind of support? Because obviously this is a lot of work for just one person, especially now that you mentioned you're getting new clients, you're getting more growth.
Great question. So yeah, when I went onto those chat forums, I was looking for like-minded people to grow with. The problem is that there was a lot of smart individuals, but they didn't have, an idea on how to get sales. Now, me being in sales for the last 7 years,
not a business mindset.
Yeah, that's been tough. Is a business mindset. I've been having to like turn my thinking around, like how do I now think about delegating, right? Instead of just like building, because I not only like to do the sale, but I like to be the builder as well. But now that we've been expanding with their friends, talking about their friends, it's like, of course I had to bring in some people. So I'm glad that there's networks like Upwork and Fiverr. The way I do things differently though, that I think people can take a good idea from is that instead of just like going in there and creating a proposal like, hey, I'm looking for so-and-so, right? And then interviewing those people, I purposely just find people, I look at their background, look at their Upwork profile, and I tell them, hey, I just want to spend this amount of time. Like, I just want to see a job that you're currently working on. I won't say anything. I'll just jump in. You just tell me maybe your process. But I am essentially shadowing this person, wanting to learn as much as I can. And if I can learn a lot from them in a certain amount of time, then it's like, okay, that's the person I might want on my team. So I'm actually paying purposely like, 30 to 50 so an hour, not even giving them a project. I just want to see what they're doing day to day and like learn what they know.
Process.
Yeah. Either I learn from them and I can take that for me, or realize like this is the person I like on my team. So right now I currently have my partner, Jean. He's a full stack engineer. He's built voice agents for Boost Mobile. And it's great because I'm very technical myself, but he can take it to that last mile as needed when he gets very technical. So
like
that's how we've been able to work with, the next level. And that's how we've been able to work with, bigger like manufacturing companies, med tech companies, and build purely bespoke solutions where there's like API integration. So I think finding the right people that are smarter than you and not having that ego, and also too important to make sure everybody eats. I'm not the type that likes to get people from outside and then charge them less just because they're coming from the Philippines or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to charge them exactly what a US worker would get, keep them excited, but also know that we're really benefiting them,
Mm-hmm.
So I treat as, in this case, Jean is like my brother. I call him my brother from Mexico,
So like you say, as if they based in the US, what they should be earning.
Exactly. So I feel like I built a solid a team. I got a team member that helps me, build bespoke AI solutions. I'm building the framework, the structure, doing the delegating, the sales, the demos, things like that. And then I got another team member I'm currently training on how I do AI visibility because that's my meat and potatoes. But now I need to copy paste a person for myself. But really, now that we have Obsidian and Hermes and all these different AI agents, I've been able to copy paste myself in a way into AI agents. So now I have 20 agents working for me doing customer success, helping, doing the onboarding. So it really just helps with those processes and workflows.
Yeah, just keeps everything running smoothly.
Yeah.
Okay. And just circling back to what you mentioned earlier about you guys are really just growing with word of mouth, was there like a particular event or time period or specific thing that happened where you just noticed the growth spiked, like things just exploded? Or has it been kind of just gradually just building up?
It's very interesting. So I think it's one of those the universe works in mysterious ways type of thing. Because so the way it first started was I went to back in the day in the early ChatGPT 3.5 days, there were all these events running, right? You pay a ticket to go in, and it was just of someone that was much, much older running the same slide. This is what ChatGPT is. This is what it can do. And it was just like 8 slides. And then people would wait in a line to talk to this person because apparently they're the expert. But this guy never had a tangible product. Like what's a product today, right? And at that time, that's actually when I started meeting different developers. So I met Jean, and we were able to create something tangible. Like, here's an AI that works right now, answers all your DMs, answer all your comments, right? It's like a ManyChat 2.0, if you know what ManyChat is, right? We created a way to automate DMs on all channels. And we were able to just go in line. We were just tapping on people's shoulders and saying, hey, you're probably looking for something for your business, right, to help with X. Like, let me show you something that's ready and available. And I just started taking people away from that line, just selling them right there and then. And so I think having something tangible at the right time helped a lot. And then on top of that is just not being afraid to just talk to anybody. I put myself purposely in a situation where I'm living in a place where I'm always networking. I go up to people and just say, hey, my name is so-and-so. My name is Lysander. We live in the same area. Curious, what do you do for a living? Just straight out getting into it.
Yeah, just talking to people.
You'll be amazed like how fast your network grows and how fast that word of mouth grows when you're not afraid to just have that first like hello, right? So I've purely just been building from just word of mouth and just building the right network,
Yeah, I think that's almost the lost art, the actual human connection. Like, people are very scared to just strike up a conversation nowadays, and maybe not even just that, but the art of small talk. Like, people don't really know how to chit chat anymore. So that definitely plays into your favor there, because that leaves an impression in someone. Like, hey, this guy just came up to me while I was at the coffee shop and we just chatted for 10 minutes. So that's definitely a unique thing in today's age, specifically with how people don't really enjoy that social face-to-face interaction anymore, like, the olden days. So that's really unique.
Yeah, I think that comes from my time doing door-to-door sales, just having that conversation and just
Makes sense.
actually trying to figure out what's something you might be able to help with, or can you guys help each other in a network,
Okay, now that makes sense, because a lot of people are very shy about those kind of interactions. So I get it now. It was your job, so you just got used to it. And I know you're growing now. So what's the next step aside from making this your full-time hustle? What do you think is the next big step for you guys, for your team, for where do you want to go next?
Well,
is there a clear point?
Yeah, so it's funny. So recently we started adding in some certain workflows. So we have this new software we've just added to give everybody a custom dashboard, have a full transparent view of exactly what is going on. So that's one of the big things I wanted to make sure that this agency would do was, have more transparency. Anybody that works from us from day one knows exactly what's being worked on, how they're ranking, what their current site is like. So there's just full transparency. No need to wonder like, when am I going to have my meeting every 2 weeks to get understanding what's going on?
Constant live information, basically.
So we've been expanding ways for customers to see that. And then we've been expanding our workflows and better QA. So now that we've gotten that structure down, now we're trying to figure out how we can also like be different from the market. Now you're seeing a ton of AI consulting businesses open. The things that we're focusing on now is like, okay, well, let's look at AI clones. We have a lot of customers that are spending X on marketing, right? What if we can lower that overhead? Also, I'm now turning those people that were my partners into like, hey, let's go ahead and copy paste you and try to find that next person to also help us on X. So just kind of expanding and recopying what was working already. And the cool thing about it is when you build like this is that you can be very picky on who you work with. In the beginning, I only was working with 2 people just because I wanted to help them, right? And then they would introduce me to someone, but then we started getting in clients that were just not the type of clients you would want, but as you're building, you're like, okay, you know what? If we can make this person happy and we can provide these type of results, then in the future we can do the same. And usually when you think like that, you're just thinking like, okay, it's gonna make everybody happy. But when you start growing, you can start being picky of who you want to work with. And that's very beneficial because then that lowers your stress levels and helps everybody on the team.
It's not like I need every single person.
Yeah. So we just been very like hand selected now. Now we're very particular in who we want to work with. It's not based off budget or anything like that. It's based off of like, how can we work together as partners? And is what you're looking to get done, is it exciting for us too? Because we've done this because this is our passion,
Yeah. Is it going to like motivate and drive my team? Is it like, is there longevity for both of you guys, Not just can I make a quick buck
come in here. Exactly. Yeah. So I think the next step is just, we're expanding on what's working today. We're building solid case studies. I'm going to start actually putting a Google My Business page up and maybe start actually thinking about, hey, if someone goes on my site, I want them to see that there is nothing wrong. Like they will not be able to find nothing wrong. So now I guess I'm going to make myself my own client. Right, been helping X, but now it's expanding, and now I just let's build a better front door. Now that we have the proper workflows, the proper people, and the proper infrastructure to expand.
Yeah. So now the internals are sorted out. Now it's time for people to see from the outside in. Like this is what we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially since it's our passion. Me and my partner have been just creating a pretty insane type of products where we want to take to market, not just AI visibility, but when it comes to bespoke AI, we've been building like custom agents that can help you through a sales cycle from an e-commerce store or real estate. Like there's just exciting things. So now we're trying to figure out how do we push that message out and look for those type of clients,
Yeah. How do we take this to the market, basically?
Exactly.
Okay. And obviously with growth, not only it's exciting, but there's probably also challenges as well. Have you noticed anything that's like been maybe difficult for you guys to adapt to, or something that's a blocker or anything like that, where you notice, oh, we're not getting through this as smoothly, or this is a bit more time consuming than we thought? Is there even anything like that in your guys' current space? Like that's giving you some pushback?
I think it's the expectations of some of the people we work with, right? Like it's different from when you actually know how the technology works to what you see today, right? Like for example, people today use ChatGPT, like write my emails, search up this, do that. Whereas me and my partners, we're using Claude Code, we're using CLI, we're using Cursor, we're using more backend infrastructure things. We're building agents with Hermes. A lot of people have no idea what we're talking about. Even when we were talking about OpenCall, maybe a part of the market knew what that was, but now we've gone from that. Maybe now we're using NanoClaw, things like that. The point is, I think it's understanding that technology is moving fast in our world. We understand it, but when we're working with clients, they don't really know much besides, oh, I think it's called ChatGPT or something. We're like, what?
Yeah.
So the first thing we had to figure out, what was one of the biggest barriers, was like understanding how to break things down, I guess, Barney style, right? How can we explain like, hey, this is all our knowledge? Exactly. Because me and my partner, we're executors, right? So it was always just like, give us your problem and then we'll just execute. A lot of times when I was doing my calls, we weren't even going into the business. They were asking how much it is. And I would just be coming up with a number. But in my mind, it's like, I know I can do this fast, right? So I was trying to figure out like how much really is our time worth. And also like, I know we know all this and to us it's easy, but for the client, like, are we actually, benefiting them by sharing this knowledge, or should we just execute? So
or are we just like overburdening them?
Yeah, we were just feature dumping and just nerding out, and they
Yeah.
had no idea what we were
And they're just
talking
sitting there
about.
like,
So
AI good? AI good? Yeah.
yeah. So we had to realize like, how do we Barney style things? How do we break it down for anybody to understand? That was the first hurdle. And then the second is as you're expanding and everybody's understanding that this is like the new gold rush, you're gonna have those people that are looking for people like you. So for example, we've had instances where businesses were coming in and they were saying, hey, you can be our AI arm, or you can do this and we'll send work to you. But then they were starting to send agreements to us. And in the clause, it's like, man, they're trying to keep IP rights. They're trying to do this. So then
Mhm.
we had to realize like there's sharks out there trying to take our products or trying to take our knowledge, resell it as their own, and make sure that they keep everything, even though they're not providing anything. Right.
Yeah.
So
They're
there's
trying to like
also being
white label your products basically.
exactly. So then you got to understand too, like once you're doing great work and the word starts spreading of your knowledge, there's sharks out there,
People want
right?
it.
So that was
People
another
want it.
barrier. Yeah. So that was the second barrier. And then I think the third one, and this is the one that I'm pretty happy about that, is like it's understanding like the processes, like how can we get someone live like ASAP. So for example, right now we're able to get a site up and launching within 4 or 5 days, a really solid website, have the AI visibility, the whole dashboard up and running. But to get to that level, we had to go a lot of trials and tribulations.
Mhm.
And
A
one of
lot of
those
trial and
biggest,
error.
yeah. And that biggest error, I think, was trying to find a client that truly understood that they were a guinea pig, right? Like there's going to be problems, and we're building
Yeah.
this alongside
We
you.
testing this
And then,
out.
yeah. And then you have to have that confidence in yourself as a founder to be like, okay, cool. You know what? We've got X results. There's no more guinea pigs anymore. This is the price. And being able to stick at that level and be confident in yourself to know that, like, hey, we're not bringing any more guinea pigs here. We're going to be selective on our clients, and we're not going to have to wonder of like, we want to do everything we can to keep this client. It's like, no, like this is our job. This is what we provide. If you don't understand that, don't see the value, then now we can say, hey, we're not going to work with you. So now that we've gotten to that level, those are
Mhm.
some of the biggest obstacles. We've had to turn into a business mindset where we were just nerd focused. We were just
Yeah. Just want to
builders.
build, just
We
want to
weren't
execute.
business
Yeah, yeah.
people. Yeah.
Now you got to think this is an enterprise, this is a company now, basically.
Yeah. Like, oh shoot, I had to get an LLC. Like
I got to
the business
register.
card, the business banking, all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
shoot, I thought I could
Now
just
it's like
do this on Zelle.
official.
Yeah, it's official. So
Yeah. And just last question, like on that, how's that been for you? How's the transition from busy part-time hustle that you love doing for like, it's work, but that you have fun doing, transitioning now into something that's stamped. This is official. This is a business that we're trying to make. How's that transition been like for you? Has that been intimidating? Has it been exciting? Because obviously that's a big shift as well. Like it's no longer just, oh, this is a fun project I've been doing with my friend. Now it's a company, How's that been for you?
it's the universe works in mysterious ways. I always thought I was just going to be a sales rep. Actually, after the military, I thought I was going to be in Homeland and do bomb squad there. Then COVID hit, and that changed everything. And so
Mhm.
when it was done with COVID, it's like, well, I was doing sales, so then I'll stay in sales. But then I started this is why I make it a mission to learn at least 2 skills a year, no matter what it is. And those skills just happen to be things that I'm starting to get passionate about. So now that it's turning into this business, I'm starting to understand what people mean by like, you're not working if you enjoy what you do, right? It's just funny because I have a full time that's completely different from what I'm doing today, but
Mhm.
I'm still with it because I enjoy being consultative. I'm generally helping these
You enjoy the
businesses that
problem
don't know
solving.
any better. I enjoy the problem solving, but if I want to make sure that I'm going to be a man of my word and make sure I'm giving the right value as my side business is now turning into more, like I have a number that if I hit this number, that's it. I'm going on LinkedIn saying, hey, you know what? Thanks for everything. I'm going all in. But
Mhm.
right now, because of the processes and the right things that I've been doing, I've been able to do the two at a high level at the same time. But I am seeing this turning into something where I'll go to trade shows, maybe even start getting banners up, go back to door knocking. I love door knocking. I hate cold calling. I'd rather go to your business. Here's an audit. Let me give you a free
Mhm.
audit. Let me show you what we can do. And that's exciting, the idea of going out in the field again and shaking hands again. Whereas right now, my full time just keeps me at the computer all day. So,
Yeah. And then this
those are
part-time
exciting things
doesn't
to look
exactly
forward
help with
to.
that too.
Yeah. So, this business, it's going. We just recently onboarded like 8 new clients in like a week and a half, and it's like, whoa, what just happened? And for some reason, out of nowhere, this friend told that friend told this friend has 3 locations. So it's like, what is happening? And so
So it's just like
things are
it's
just moving.
constantly piling up.
Yeah, even this podcast, you guys hitting me up, this is all happened within this like month to month and a half time. It's
Yeah.
like something just shifted in the market, you know?
When it rains, it pours, I guess, in good ways too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay,
Exactly.
awesome. I really think that's pretty much what I wanted to just chat about, Lysander. So thank you so much for your insights today. Just to sign off a little bit different here, is there anything you could maybe say to the nerds and the executors out there who are so focused on the back end, so focused on the buildings? Is there any piece of advice you could give them to maybe get the skills that you guys are trying to get now, the business skills that change up? Because like you said, it is important for a lot of these people if they are trying to be consultants or trying to do their own thing. Is there any piece of advice you could give to those back-end focused guys on how they could adapt and how they could change it up?
Coming from someone that used to be very introverted, I'm talking about very introverted. You know what I mean? I didn't even go to prom in high school. The only reason why I'm at
Same.
my character today is because of the military. I think that really changed things into me. But really, you got to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, right? So, for example, you could know all this technology and skills, but at the end of the day, it's like you need to learn the skill set of talking to people and breaking it down, right? A lot of people that I speak with, right, I had to learn how to not over nerd a situation
Yeah,
or
how to like chop
over
it down
feature
too.
them. Yeah. But I would say, be comfortable in the uncomfortable. I mean, my flame was I was diffusing bombs, so if I mess up, I'm gone. I'm dust. I'm nothing.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that like I gotta live in no regrets. So to me, I purposely put myself out there and talk to people. I don't have fun just tapping someone's shoulder or say, hey, so and so. Like sometimes I need some liquor courage, but at the end of the day, like as I keep doing it more and more and more, I've been able to expand my network. So I would say, one, just be uncomfortable be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Don't be afraid to shoot your shot. The worst thing you're going to do is just end up in the same place you are today. The second would most likely be understanding that there's a lot of people that are introverted today. Everybody is growing up on tablets, computers. People are learning that human interaction. So immediately, if you just have, I guess, the confidence to just come up someone, you're already a step against the next person. That's why, like on my LinkedIn, I created a whole how-to guide on how to get a job in 3 months. And all you had to do was just shoot a video over to the hiring manager, and you'd be surprised of how often someone will hit you back up. So it's the same way when I'm
Yeah.
going after clients and I do my research, I'm sending a video straight to them, or I'm saying, hey, let's meet for lunch, right? Get in front of them. And I would say too, is just understand that, there's just so much opportunity right now to build, sure, but you have to build something tangible, something that the customer can actually use. I see a ton on Instagram where there's like people building Jarvises and they're talking to their computers. And that's so cool. I know what you're doing. You're using Raspberry Pi and things like that. But the point is, it's like you have to figure out how to make a tangible product that's ready to market today, right?
How
Otherwise,
to
you're
make
going
it
to keep looking at
practical.
Instagram reels that are like, why didn't I think of that? And it's like, you can do it. You just got to figure out how to execute it and have that message for the person so they understand what it is,
Yeah. Like how the average person is going to understand it and,
Yeah. Even I
consume
have a
that kind
trouble
of
right
stuff.
now when people ask me what Bot Fanatics is. It's like I want to tell them a specific product, but now it's like I'm jumping in. Like, look, it's literally whatever you want it to be. If you need help with technology, it's a consulting business. Like, let's talk with you, and we'll understand how we can help you. And so we just treat it like a conversation.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for those points. Yeah, that's really all for today. So thank you so much for your time, Lysander. It's been really lovely having you on. Really appreciate you chatting with us today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate the questions and giving me the chance here to talk about Bot Fanatics.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much for your time.